Chief Growth Officer of Everest. Also the author of the upcoming book, B2B Content Marketing Strategy, coming out October 28th this year. Today I'm here to talk about the 5 things you need to create a highly successful career as a CMO or marketing professional. The first thing you need to know is that great leaders don't follow playbooks. The most successful CEOs, CMOs, inventors, they follow their own path. They're not trying to copy others or even one-up another person's software. They think about problems from first principles. They consider the evidence in front of them rather than trying to mold a situation to an existing playbook that's already there. The next thing is focus on human psychology over technology. Your tech stack isn't your greatest differentiator. It's your human people working at the company and their unique brains and the folks that you are serving with your product or service. Marketing analytics gets smarter every day. But what I see is marketing campaigns not delivering the results that they used to. But the skill that remains the most valuable and the most elusive is genuinely understanding human behavior such that you can leverage it to access the intrinsic motivations among your customers and get them bought in to come along for the ride. Third, storytelling. Look, this may have become a buzzword, but it's still really important, right? Numbers aren't universal truths, especially given how difficult it is for marketers to convince their CEOs, their CTOs, their CFOs that marketing is important, it's effective, it doesn't have one-to-one returns all the time. So your ability to take what happened, right? Data, the intangible things that occurred, and craft a compelling narrative that helps executives not just understand what you did, but why it matters for the business, and use words that they are familiar with. I am a big anti-buzzword person for that reason. Buzzwords are interpretable. Use their language and you'll be more effective at getting buy-in, congratulations, more budget. Number 4, objectivity. This is something that I struggled to overcome throughout my career. And it wasn't until I led a company that I really saw where I hadn't been objective in the business. So there's a couple ways that this matters. First, don't get too attached to any ideas you have. When you're working within a business, there's any number of reasons why an idea can't be executed or it isn't the right time. And your job as a CMO is to be flexible, to have more ideas, to make situations that seem impossible work. When I took over as CEO of a content marketing agency in March 2020, we lost $100K in MRR in my first 2 weeks due to the pandemic. Now, in this moment, I didn't have the option to freak out. I had to be objective about what I could and couldn't control and focus on the things I could control and being really strategic about it. And I couldn't have done that if I wasn't acting from an objective point of view. Lastly, curiosity. This to me is a fun one, but it's surprisingly difficult for folks. I think especially as I was coming up in my career, I remember I felt like it was my job to know things. People asked me questions, I had to know. But the higher up you get into your career, especially once you're a CMO, you realize it's sort of the opposite, that asking questions and listening are way more powerful and give you what you need to be successful because you're collecting data essentially, and not just the answers to questions, but how people react, what makes their face light up or what agitates them. And you can use that in various aspects of your job, both internally and externally, to, as I say, get what you want, right? I remember my CMO back in the day when I worked at Help Scout. His name was Suneet Bhatt, and he could see that I was a little bit burnt out. Not from too much work, because I loved what I did, but we'd been going at a big project for a while, and I was just tired and mentally. And so he said, all right, Devin, I want you to go to South by Southwest, and I don't want you to do anything. Just go and absorb and meet people. And it was such an energizing experience because it allowed me to open up my curious self, take in new information. And I think it was the next weekend after I got back. It was the morning of Thanksgiving, and I woke up at 4 a.m., spread markers and paper all over the floor, and I came up with the idea for the biggest, most transformative thing that we executed at Help Scout at the time. And it basically got me started on the next big mountain. Also, if you're not curious, that's a big signal as a CMO that maybe you're not doing something that interests you, and it's worth considering maybe doing something else. Thanks so much, everybody, and good luck.